everyone, Joeypals here, and we're finally going to tackle something I've left in my air for a while. No, it's not my age, not anything personal. It's not even my feelings about anything related to the Kardashians, but instead something that's actually relevant. Ladies and gentlemen, I finally bring you Pokemon Investigations Episode 3 Part 2. If you don't remember this series, frankly, I don't blame you. This is a video series where I take the Pokemon and investigate where they come from, then transform them all into Fire Emblem units. All Pokemon, if possible, will be set with standard Fire Emblem Fates growths, but as you'll see here with a certain little Pokemon, that's not going to be the case. If you missed part 1, I'll let you pause this video and catch up with a little eye icon at the top right. Now, without further ado, let's get started. First up, we have a little DNA freak itself, Eevee. Eevee, being the adorable little fluffball it is, could go one of two ways. Either a villager along the lines of Fire Emblem Gaiden and Shadows of Valentia, or along the lines of training classes in the Sacred Stones family. Since the growths in Gaiden and Valentia are on the weaker side, hell, just check out the protagonist Alm here and compare him to, say, Hinoka. We'll be going with the Sacred Stones model, but with a promotion idea of Gaiden and Valentia. Cool? Cool. Anyway, with Eevee being, well, Eevee, I'm going to take the cutest idea out of a trio, which is Eevee wielding magic and not an axe or lance, and make Eevee a pupil. With our only pupil in existence being Ewan, we'll take these growths and balance them out, while setting them up to be slightly below the premier mage of Fates, Nyx. This is what I proposed for Eevee with a stat total of 270. 40% HP, 30% strength, 40% magic, 40% skill, 30% speed, 35% luck, 20% defense, and 35% resistance. Against Nyx, Eevee would have a higher HP, skill, and luck stat, but have a lower stat in everything else, including a full 30% lower in both speed and magic. That alone balances out Eevee significantly as it prepares to promote into one of 8 classes. Let's start with our classic Kanto trio. Before I go into classes, let me discuss growth rates for the 8 Eeveelutions. As any fan of Pokemon would be able to point out, the base stats of the 8 Eeveelutions are the exact same, but with the base stats flipped around. You should expect to see the exact same thing with the Eeveelutions. For the Eeveelutions, all of them will be based on the most average of Fates units, Tsubaki, and have 335 total growth. Now, getting back to the army we've been building up with the Eeveelutions. Starting with the one that's totally the most loved of the 8, we have Flareon. Flareon, despite its weird usage in the Pokemon games, like literally the only physical fire moves it gets are Fire Fang, Flame Charge, and Flare Blitz. Though that's more of a problem with the fire type itself. Anyway, Flareon could be put to use if given the right investment and team. That sentiment, I feel, is perfectly exemplified with its Fire Emblem unit transformation. As Flareon is one of the original Eeveelutions, I decided to give it a class that's old, reliable, and sometimes won't be the best unit on your squadron, but it'll definitely try. That's right, it's the Cavalier. As a Cavalier, Flareon has some weird stats, emphasizing strength and resistance, but not so much speed and HP. I think it's a refreshing take on the Cavalier, one with plenty of movement that can cut through mages, but needs to be wary of scary physical units such as fighters and wyvern knights. Overall, could be a solid choice, but not your cream of the crop. You know who is the cream of the crop, though? Our next Eeveelution, Vaporeon. As anyone who has played competitive Pokemon can tell you, Vaporeon isn't there to strap on some choice specs and ravage the fool who try to fuck with it. No, instead it's fair to just smile at you, heal its allies, and either throw a burn or poison your way. While its Fire Emblem counterpart may not be able to burn or poison you, thanks Fates, what it can do is heal, and heal wonderfully. Vaporeon has been strapped in as a Shrine Maiden, with some pretty solid growths to match. With plenty of HP and magic, even if Vaporeon gets struck, there should be enough life in it to keep it going. In addition, with that high magic growth, Vaporeon will become quite a capable healer, especially after promoting into either an Onmyoji or Priestess. While Vaporeon may not friend you immediately, do not underestimate you. It will be out to kill you. Speaking of fiends out to kill you, there's Jolteon. This Pokemon based on the myth of a Raiju certainly is quite quick, and it leaves quite a smoldering blow with potent electric strikes. That being said, that doesn't translate well into the Fire Emblem universe, since most magic units are slow. Oh. Hey Saizo, what's up? Uh-huh. Oh yes, I see. Should I tell him? Alright. Well, Jolteon, you're lucky! The banker just called and is offering to make you a ninja. As a ninja, Jolteon follows heavily in the path of Saizo. You see, Saizo has a strange amount of magic. He sports a 45% growth in magic as a ninja, master ninja, and mechanist, meaning he could very easily take advantage of the only two magical shuriken in Fates, the Flame Shuriken and Felicia's Plates. That 45% growth sticks with Jolteon via compensation of class, but don't worry, this feint is not going to let you down anytime soon. Sporting skill and speed like Kaze, but magic like Saizo, Jolteon makes for a very interesting ninja. With strength almost on par with his magic, Jolteon's only real downside is a low HP growth. However, just as long as you keep him safe, Jolteon should work fine, just like the Ninja Trio. Now that we're out of the Kanto Eeveelutions, we'll head into the dichotomy of Espeon and Umbreon. While it would have been very interesting to see Espeon as a Dark Mage and Umbreon as a Mage to better match for Origin, I realized while making my growths that there's kind-hearted Dark Mages such as Candace and Henry, to an extent anyway, while there's cold and mean mages such as Rajat and Miranda. Yeah, Miranda. You know the Thracia character? Wasn't expecting that reference, were you? Anyway, yes, Espeon and Umbreon are your beautiful mage duo. Starting with Espeon, just like in Pokemon, Espeon is set up to be a fast, high-voltage unit with plenty of damage output. Espeon might be a little squishy, but she comes as a high-octane option compared to both Hayato and Orochi. While Orochi outpaces her in magic, her speed growth is a full 30% lower. While Hayato may be more durable with much higher luck and HP, he's simply outpaced in magic and tied in speed. This makes Espeon a beautiful glass cannon and one that you can't go wrong with. On the other side of the Johto collection, we have Umbreon. While Espeon is set up to be a glass cannon, Umbreon, just like in Pokemon, is far more of a tank. Normally, when you think of Dark Mages, you think highly potent attacks but slow. And for at least one of these, you'd be right. However, Umbreon isn't there to dish out massive attacks. Rather, he's there to take them with Nosferatu in hand. Umbreon is a weird unit in that his biggest growths lie in his defenses. Obviously, you'll need to be careful as that low speed means a good majority of enemies would be able to double him. But with those growths, Umbreon is able to hold down a choke point and heal back from damage with Nosferatu. That also makes him stand out from the other Gen 1 Dark Mages as well, since Nyx is very powerful, being fast and possessing high magic, while Odin is very average growths and not excelling in anything. He's just kind of a mess. With Umbreon being a tanky Dark Mage, while being only 5% lower in magic than Odin, Umbreon sets himself up to be a very durable unit. You know what cuts through durable units though? Myrmidons, being very high speed and very powerful. However, what if there was a Myrmidon that had that and passable physical defense? Well, you'd have Leafeon. With 40% defense, sure it may not be able to charge in the middle of a field of Great Knights and survive, but it'll allow it to at least survive a physical attack. Given it only has 25% HP, that defense is pretty necessary. Aside from that, you have the typical high strength and speed that comes with a class. While Leafeon far outpaces Hinata, funnily enough, Leafeon is actually pretty even with Hana, sporting similar speed and strength, but flip defenses. Hana outpaces Leafeon in luck, but Leafeon outpaces Hana in magic, which, given how much time you spend with Eevee, may or may not matter. Regardless, Leafeon will be able to serve a solid spot in your team with the right amount of love. And given it's not Hana, that should be enough, right? Finally, we move into the last evolution to have a semi-normal evolution method. We have Glaceon. Now, I'm going to be straight up honest, I had a hard time placing Glaceon. The only thing I could think of was the Blizzard Tome in Genealogy, but we already have our spellcasters. After looking at its defenses and move pool though, I figured the perfect class for it would be Troubadour. Upon examination, you'll notice that Glaceon is a middle child between Espeon and Umbreon, sporting Espeon's HP, Magic, and Resistance, while sporting Umbreon's Speed, Luck, and Defense. Whether or not those blends are important is up to you. The reason why I chose Troubadour is that if you're not using Glaceon for a Choice Specs user, you're using it as a Wish Passer in an extremely low-end metagame. Glaceon, despite having surprisingly high defenses, comes as a pure Ice type, meaning it has many weaknesses. The same could be said for the Troubadour. Yes, there's pros, such as being on a horse and being able to move far, but at the same time that leaves you more open to attacks, whether it be via ranged units or units with Beast Killer properties such as the Halberd and, well, the Beast Killer. That low HP is also a major downside, something Elise knows a little too well. Overall, with enough love, Glaceon can grow and promote into a badass unit with high magic but low speed. Kinda like Orochi, but with a horse and physical bulk. You just gotta let it survive first. That moves us into our app-based evolution, Sylveon. Why we decided to make Sylveon an app-based evolution and not something to tie into a prism scale like Feebas is beyond me. But regardless, Sylveon in Pokemon is a very heavily designed special powerhouse, letting out pixelated hyper voices while healing all the while. That being said, I had to take liberties into my own hands on this one. If you remember all the way back to part 1, you might remember the little story I told about the two Eevee watching Sailor Moon with its trainer. That trainer was Sylvia. While the story may not be true, Sylvia, name and all, is the closest thing to Fire Emblem Sylveon has, down to physical design and name. As such, and since this is Fates, Sylveon is a songstress, putting her in direct competition against the only songstress, Azora. However, Sylveon can be seen as a low-rent version of Azora, in terms of both plot relevance and stats. I will straight up say that Sylveon was the hardest to make, simply because the class is so much different than what Sylveon is as a Pokemon. Sylveon isn't the quickest Pokemon, but has a lot of special defense and special attack with HP to boot. While Azora is very low HP, she's high up on speed, skill, luck, and strength. Speed and strength directly contradict with Sylveon, so I had to make a few concessions. That being said, Sylveon could definitely serve an interesting role, as that high HP and res makes Sylveon more durable than Azora. Sure, Sylveon has half the speed growth and virtually no strength, but with a Bolt Naginata, Sylveon can tap into that magic. I don't see it getting picked over Azora, but who knows? Maybe in the right hands, it'd be the perfect candidate. And with that, after part 1 being out for almost 6 months, part 2 finally comes to a close. What'd you guys think of the reclasses? Do you think some of these units are a little too potent? What do you think of the dichotomy between Espeon and Umbreon? Let me know down in the comments below, and let me know which Pokemon you'd like to see in episode 4. Make sure to check out the links below. I do Twitch and I have a Patreon, so if you want to support me both ways, I'm here for it. Alright, until next time, my name is Joeypals, signing out. See ya!